Hello, everybody. Good night to you guys, and welcome to another episode of the YarCrypto Late Night Live Show. Um, I have with me here today, guys, Mr. Sterling. Hello, Sterling,
Hey, what's up, guys? How are we doing?
and also Legal Talent.
Hello, people. How y'all doing?
And my name is Groovy. So yeah, guys. Today we have another bunch of interesting stuff to talk about. But first, let's start with some TA here on BTC to see how it's doing. And guys, we have been looking bearish in the last couple hours. I have here on my screen the daily chart for BTC, and so we just closed the daily, guys, 4 minutes ago, and we closed still inside the pattern that we have here, falling wedge, but we also closed inside this range here of support of the 31K, which has been support here in this previous uh, date here. And well, it it's looking a little bearish right now because the bulls have absolutely no strength so far. We have been trying the lower time frames, guys. If you look at the 4 hour here, we have been trying to go up, but we never go so too far on these 4 hour candles, and we just sell off again. So
Yeah,
our only hope uh, so far, I believe, is still this pattern because we are still inside the pattern. We faked out here a number of times, but we are still inside it, and we closed the 4 hour just on the trend line there. If you guys take a look, so yeah, we gotta wait and see what's going to happen. If we do recover here, we're gonna need a lot of volume to push us up through this area and to test the 21 EMA on the daily time frame once again.
yeah.
Uh,
And
but
talking
yeah,
about the daily, if I can bring up my chart really quickly, just to add a little confluence and just to bring up some stuff we were looking at from the past. We do have this RSI over here on my screen, and this yellow trend line that I have drawn for you all is from the trend line on the RSI dating back from the beginning of the year on the 3rd. And so, once the RSI reached this peak, it failed to print another higher high since then. And so we've been on this constant downtrend on the RSI while we were in the kind of bull run that we were in. And ultimately, until we broke down and see this major correction that we're in and consolidation period. But another thing to also take note of is, we did have this lower trend line for the RSI that the price was respecting as a support level. And we did recently break down from that to the downside. So, what can we expect from this at the moment? What I see in the price is technically the strength kind of remaining the same on the RSI from the price action on the previous low here. And so overall, there's nothing telling us that we're bullish or bearish in terms of this indicator, but it's just something to keep in mind because, we did break down below that. And then if I can just take it down to the micro level here on the 4 hour, this is something one of our community members pointed out, and we can make the argument for a broadening wedge here on the 1 hour for Bitcoin. At the moment, we have two solid touches on the top and two solid touches on the bottom from the wicks here. And we failed to kind of reach the top here again. And we're currently trading, in the middle of support and resistance. So it is something that we have to keep in mind if we do kind of break the 31,000 area. I could expect lower prices from there, and there is the argument for them to want to take the price to 28,000, which would be the bottom of this broadening wedge here. So that's something to keep into account and something we're going to be looking at from here on.
yeah. And also, guys, I can even add some more things to this, to what Legal is talking about, because uh, The 28K, as Legal mentioned, is probably our last resort support level. Um, because if you guys take a look here, we had 2 weeks um, down there. The first one was all the way in the beginning of the consolidation period, and another one on June 22nd.
Yeah.
So that is a very, that is a demand zone, and we should expect a bounce from there. I don't believe that we're gonna go a lot further down than that, because it seems to have a lot of demand on that area yet, because it hasn't been tested many times. But something else that I want to show you guys here is that retracement that I've been showing you for the last couple days, which is this retracement here from this swing low on June 26th all the way up to the swing high on June 29th. Um, and that shows us this fib levels here that have been very confluent for us. We have been finding support here on these fib levels ever since that swing high there. So right now, guys, we just closed a 4-hour candle below the 786 once again, which is right here. And if you guys take a look, a couple hours ago, we did close below it, and it was that fake out that we had uh, before jumping back into the above the 786 again. But as I said, guys, the bulls have no strength whatsoever. We didn't even manage to go to the 618 golden pocket here, and we
Yeah.
just sold off once again. And if I zoom in even more, guys, on the 1 hour here,
Yeah, we're
you see that we
seeing
have,
signs of rounded tops there.
yeah, and we closed the 1 hour below, and now we just tested the level as resistance again, and we sold off pretty quickly from there as well. So this is not really not looking very nice so far. Um, but we just started the daily, so who
Yeah.
knows?
Also, welcome Jamal, Mr. Pete. How y'all guys doing?
Yo, but yeah, so I question now if this is gonna be another fake out on the daily, or if this is the breakdown really from that falling wedge. And if it is, then potentially we are gonna see the 28Ks here pretty soon. Uh, or if not, if it's just another stop loss hunt on this area, then they're doing it a lot these days. And yeah, we will potentially see a wick on the daily here and coming back into the pattern later.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And then like one last thing, if I could just bring up two here, if we looking at the bigger picture, if we look at the weekly here, technically if we could find the bottom sometime in the next month here and possibly, make a move to the upside, it would potentially be somewhat bullish only because the RSI is for the most part holding its strength here from the start of this bull run over here in March of 2020. So if we can kind of exhaust these sellers and the RSI can get really just slightly below, then we will be forming divergences that will be bullish. At the moment, we do have the money flow index, which is forming bullish divergences. We have lower high on the money flow index from here on the weekly, and then we have a much higher high on the price action here. So this is something that, for me, is quite bullish at the moment.
yeah, and
And
it's
excuse me, I meant the lower low and higher low, not the highs.
yeah,
So just to correct that.
yep. So
Can
yeah,
I just ask?
like yeah,
I just wanted to ask, which retracement are we technically looking at for the most part at these levels? Are we looking at that July 14th retracement, that from low to high?
you mean on the weekly?
No,
No, I
just in
think he's
general.
talking about the one we've been using, for
Oh,
the more confluent one, the one that we're still in the zone of at the moment.
Yeah, so the at least what I'm using here, and I think this has been respected many times now, is this one here that I highlighted here from June 26th all the way up to June 29th, the swing high there, because I can even point out here this is the daily, and we respected these levels in a lot of occasions here. On the 4 hours, it's gonna be a little nicer for me to actually show you,
Yeah.
um, because we had this first touch. Let me get my arrow here. We had this first touch on the golden pocket here. We bounced. Then we had this touch here on the 50% line. We bounced from there. Then we had resistance here at the and the 23.6 two times. We sold off, and then we came back to the 50 line here, support again, uh, and then we came up, tried to reclaim the 38.2 here, wasn't able to, sold off again, lost us 50, and that became resistance here.
Yeah.
I see.
And
I see.
then, yeah, so this retracement is very, very confluent right now. I would say it's probably the most reasonable one for us to make. We can uh, make another one here, and
Because
it's probably,
I
yeah.
believe there is another retracement that turns the 618 into clear resistance in the last day or so. And then like I was
Hmm.
thinking that was maybe the July 14th, or yeah, like that one, that swing low, that swing high to swing low, or like you were about to do. I
Yep, this one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
so if
then
I get rid of this, yes, we are practically going to the
we're acting as that one.
100% right now. Yeah,
Yeah. With this
but
particular retracement, it seems that we're acting we're reacting to these levels as resistance. Clearly,
yeah,
I get that.
a lot of resistance here. But yeah, it's certainly bearish right now, guys. There's not
Yeah.
much else to say here
Yeah.
because
And if you want, I can give you one alternate view that is still kind of valid. We have this retracement here. So what we've been doing is retracing from this plot right here, this swing
yeah,
low to swing high. But my argument would be for the wick over here, even though usually when you have such a large wick, there's sometimes chances that, or at times that you can, disregard it in terms of just the volatility for futures and the smaller cap coins. But with this one, we do have the golden pocket, which we're right there, and we're just getting rejected off of. So, and if we do look at this, there is some confluence here because right now on the 4 hour we had a perfect retest for resistance here. We had first here a test of support, which it failed and then it broke down. But if you can see all throughout these candles, we have support here, then it's flipped as resistance, and now we're looking at the 0.65, the bottom of the golden pocket, perfectly flipped as resistance at the moment. So the one thing to keep into mind here is that there's going to be multiple retracements, there's going to be multiple points of confluence,
Yeah.
but the general point is that there's these supply and demand zones that occupy this horizontal space. And so right now
Yeah.
we are dealing with this kind of supply and demand zone that we can accurately say now that is the resistance. And if we look, and if we just go to the previous price data from here, we'll see that each time it was respected, this liquidity zone.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
right here we wicked out. Over here we had a struggle to find support, as well as here. And then over here it seems like we found support, found a bounce, but now failed as well, and now we're
Can I
resisting. So
can I ask before we move on to any EMAs and stuff? I see you have the Ichimoku on your indicators right there. You mind
yeah,
switching that one on? Are we looking at
of
the 4 hour?
course.
Yeah.
So we're on the 4 hour, and if we're looking at the crypto Ichimoku, which is tuned to cryptocurrency timeframes, we're looking over here, and we do have red clouds ahead of us. Currently, the price action is below the clouds, and the lagging lines are flipped the wrong direction. Generally, there's a few things kind of like a perfect storm when it comes to the Ichimoku and you know justifying being in a trade or a long. And in this case, we want this cloud here, the lighter red cloud that's inside this green cloud, to
Mhm.
be flipped. So in essence, they're actually um, lagging lines and moving averages essentially. And so if I go here and turn on the conversion lines for you guys so you can see it a little more clearly, you'll see that we have here just simple moving averages, and at the moment they're flipped bearish. So what we want to see for bullish price action, and if we go here and we look, at in the past a little bit, we want the lagging lines to flip. So now the cloud turns green in this indicator, but the blue line is essentially above the red line. You want the price to be above the blue and the red line, the price to be above the cloud and the green cloud ahead. At this point in time, you would have been fighting through the red cloud. You would have seen green clouds ahead. And if you would have gotten into this position based off of all the other indications, and obviously you would have looked for the supporting volume here, as you can see at the bottom of the chart here, there is supporting volume increasing for this breakout of the resistance zone, then that would have been a nice trade. But ultimately, we are on a downtrend. We are a little bit bearish here, so the price did not really go too far. But right now, it is important to keep in mind that we do have red clouds ahead of us on the full
Yeah.
hour, and that does indicate more bearish price action at the moment.
I call that the fire breathing dragon.
Yeah,
Once that fire breathing dragon shows up, you're in a bearish environment. You know that you're probably gonna make bigger gains on shorts in this type of environment rather than longs, but you could trade both. You just
yeah,
be managing your risk accordingly and be very careful. But just know that when we're under this fire breathing dragon or this red Ichimoku cloud on these 4 hour time frames, most likely the price action is going to see bigger movements to the downside rather than the upside.
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah, and if you look at the price action there, it's basically true from since the beginning, uh, basically because uh, except on that big move to the upside there that Ligo is showing right now,
Yeah.
we have been just bear strength all
So
over.
yeah,
so with that big movement to the upside, directly after that we had the rounded bottom for Bitcoin, right? So
yep,
we had that movement to the upside, and then we have this rounded bottom, which was indicating a reversal to the upside.
hmm,
However,
Yeah.
if we start looking at if we turn off the Ichimoku, I'm sorry, the
yeah,
yeah, thank you, legal. And then we turn on the 21 day and the 200 daily EMA. After that reversal, that rounded bottom, we see that the reversal was actually failed because of the fact that we couldn't reclaim. We managed to reclaim the 200 daily EMA and the 21 daily EMA as levels of support after that rounded bottom. However, what the problem is that we couldn't when we did fall to test, like when we fell off the 21 daily EMA, we fell directly through other support levels.
Yeah.
And even though we claimed all those as support previously, once we fall through one of them and then we see directly no candle getting supported by any of these other support levels, that's where you know that this whole trend that you were seeing, like with the Ichimoku cloud, the rounded bottom, the support from the 618 and the 21 day, all these things aren't going to hold after that one step where you fall
yeah,
off that one support and then starts falling directly through, and you see no wicks on the bottom of these candles as we're falling through these support levels, which is
Yeah.
showing that the price is not reacting to it. It's got to be something else. You got to reassess and you got to step back for a second.
Yeah,
exactly.
and I think the most obvious thing that we can look at to even show the bear strength on these charts is basically the 21 EMA, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
Because on the daily time frame, we had a lot of fight in that level. Basically, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 times. Not counting the previous ones that we touched, but recently we just could not hold this level.
yeah,
The bulls have absolutely no strength there, and it's crazy to think about because the on-chain data has been showing bullish stuff, and we have been seeing BTC being adopted by a lot of different countries, and just bullish, good news here and there,
A
and
lot of
even
regulation,
so,
which is supporting the wide
yeah,
mass adoption as well.
and even with all of that, it appears that basically the fear on the market is so high that the bears just take over, and uh, sometimes we even see manipulation and stuff like that. So yeah, it's crazy times right now,
Yeah.
and it's gonna get to a point where if we lose the 30K mark here, we're basically dealing with Fibonacci extensions to see where the price is gonna go next, uh, because after after the 28 actually, which is the weeks here, we start to deal with extensions,
Yep.
uh, and so we have the 127.2 and then 161.8, and then it goes from there. But yeah, I do believe 28K will be the sort of medium term bottom if we get down there. But
Yeah. And if
yeah,
those previous, candles are any indication, there is a extreme demand in that zone. So I could expect, again, we'll get a big wick to the upside.
yeah. But yeah, guys, moving on here, let's take a look at Ethereum as well, because
Yeah.
Ethereum has been following the steps of BTC so far. But something that we have been following for a long time is this, uh,
Falling
the
wedge.
aftermath of the rising wedge, right? And as you guys know, we have our target all the way down here at the 1700s, and it seems like we're well on our way there. Um, we have been finding a little bit of support in this area, similarly to BTC, on the 1800s, but I don't see a lot of support here for us, to be honest. As much as we have on the 1700s, at least, because if you guys take a look here, this is the 4 hour, but I have the daily here as well.
Yeah.
And the 1700s has been a demand zone for a while now. And yeah, it's basically this green zone here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, a lot of support here, wicks and wicks on this area. And I guess this is confluent with the 28K level for BTC, right?
Yeah. And if you go to Ethereum, if you pull up your RSI there, we had a clear divergence there on the RSI for the highs from the previous high to this high that brought us down to this level. And, so that would have been something to be looking out for in terms of, are we going to make higher highs here, or are we going to get rejected and move to the downside? So, on the daily, that was a clear indication for Ethereum with the RSI.
Yeah, on the
It was
daily. Yeah,
printing a higher high on the RSI versus the price, which was doing a lower high. So,
yeah.
that, oh, I'm looking for, if you go from that one, yep, from that peak to the next peak. So
Here
it's a
to
big
here.
time frame. Yeah, it's from the
Yeah,
14th, I believe, to the 11th, I think.
the 14th
Yeah,
of.
from that high right there. Yep. So if we go
Oh, I
from that
see.
high to the next high, we
From
formed a
this.
clear divergence in the price versus the RSI.
Yeah, if you compare the price here, yes.
Yeah, and all the while we formed three divergences there. So if you look, you'll see the first one made that first red candle, then the RSI kept going higher. We formed the second divergence because the price couldn't get past the high of the previous that, it's the originating
Yeah,
point from the divergences. So, we would have had indication that we were coming down this far, but overall we did have this bigger wedge that we have been tracking for a while.
yeah. I see that we have a comment there for Oliver. I've been in a short since 54,000, nearly ready to close, just 5,000 less. Experience from 2017. Patience is king. Very nice, Oliver.
Yeah, very
Wow,
nice.
you've been shorting since 54. Yeah, you're basically. all set there. But
That's right.
yeah, that's a great job, man. And yes, uh, patience is king for sure, especially in this type of market.
Yep.
Um, because especially in bearish periods like this, you know, and we always talk about how patience is the best tool for a trader. So yeah, that's a very good job there, man, and thank you for the comment as well.
Amazing.
But yeah, this is basically Ethereum.
Yeah.
We have our support here on the 1700s. On BTC, we have our pattern here, but we also have our bids at the 28K level for a possible bounce. And if we move on here, we can talk a little bit about the on chain side of things. And one interesting thing that we can talk about, first of all, is the hash rate, because the hash rate has been slowly rising since that whole situation with the mining stuff. Um, so if you guys take a look here, this is the chart from yesterday on the hash rate, and it says here on this article from Trust Nodes that uh, Bitcoin's hash rate has risen to 120 exahashes per second for the first time since it plunged last month. And that's more than double the recent low of 58, with the hash rate seeing an upward trend for the past 3 weeks as pictured above. So this is it right here. Um, so, and they even continue to say here about the miners that suggests a significant amount of hash rate based in China has relocated or otherwise turned back on in a fairly short amount of time. Um, so we see that the miners are relocating themselves, and they are setting up base in another countries.
Yeah.
And we talked about this as well, because we need to give it a little time so they can settle and start their business again, because this was a pretty uh, high shakeout that we had from China. But I do believe it's gonna get back on track, because they have their job as well to make, right?
And there was the arguments that the decrease in the hash rate, technically they're saying that it didn't have a direct correlation to the price. I mean, if it did, then we would expect to see the price capitulating right now with the hash rate going up. But
Yeah,
it is going to be interesting to see once it kind of returns to those normal levels and all these different companies get their setups back up and running in terms of their facilities. How much is it going to really affect the strength of the coin? And the hash rate going up and the amount of miners going up does increase overall strength and belief in the asset. So hopefully more people would choose to actually invest at that point.
yeah. So and it's interesting that you talked about it, because the hash rate and the miners and even the PUL multiple here that
Mhm.
we talked about a few weeks back, a few days back actually, because this is a indicator that a lot of people look at on BTC. Obviously, it's just one indicator, so it's we gotta look at it with a grain of salt, because
Yeah.
every time we bounced here on this green area, the price did go up, and we bounced here from this area just recently as well.
Yep.
If I take a little look here on the 27th of June, we hit that and we got back up. But the price uh, seem related in relation to that, just continue down.
Yep.
Um, it can take a little time before we actually see the results of this, but
And we are dealing with moving averages and daily candles, so there
yeah.
is going to be a lagging to this indication.
Yeah. But yeah, this is also something about the on chain, because this is another bullish indicator so far.
Yeah.
And but we just gotta wait and have patience. Um, but yeah, that's basically the mining situation right now, guys. Um, Moving on, we also have here uh, an interesting thing that Bank of America is doing,
Oh yeah.
because this article from CoinDesk here, it says that Bank of America approves Bitcoin futures trading for some clients.
Hmm.
Sources say, and this is very interesting because we saw that a few days back they had opening they opened that research team for crypto, and
Yeah,
now
that was actually it says earlier this month it emerged that the North Carolina-based bank had created the team dedicated to researching cryptocurrencies and related technologies, and this was as part of a source from Nasdaq.com. So yeah, that's
yeah.
interesting.
And now here, this article is saying that, like most institutions, the bank has been conservative in its approach to the crypto sector, but due to the large amount of margin required to trade the futures, it is now allowing some clients to access the crypto market. And the sources also said here that some clients are setting up to trade BTC futures, which are cash settled, and one or two may have already gone live. The other source said, and they say here as well that Bank of America will also be using CME futures, according to one of the sources. So yeah, this is very interesting stuff.
Yeah, and
Um,
actually, talking about the CME, which is the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, and
mhm.
they actually will supposedly be launching a smaller size Bitcoin futures contracts, and that was something that I found very interesting because it seems like they're opening and broadening to the smaller wallets, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Mhm. So yeah, this is this is not the only news that we have been following so far that has been you know uh, giving access to people uh, for the crypto services, and this is another bullish news piece of news, um, because the adoption is growing for this, and the regulations are coming in, um, and the attention is coming in.
Yeah,
So yeah, this is another very nice thing. But if talking about some not very nice things now, uh, this week we had a very you know bad number of liquidations happening on BTC. Uh, we have this article here from Crypto Slate,
yeah,
and it says that 85,000 crypto traders liquidated after BTC fell to nearly 30,000. Um, and this enters in that stop loss hunting that I've been talking about, because
exactly.
there's a lot of people trading with leverage um, right now. And leverage, as much as we say, it's a dangerous type of trading, especially if you use high leverage. uh,
Yeah,
and this they the market has the um,
Ability.
ability,
Yeah.
yeah, to just weak you out
Okay.
and just liquidate you
Yeah.
yeah,
on these types of market. And,
Yeah.
and they say here that tens of thousands of crypto traders were liquidated last night as BTC briefly dropped to under 30,500. Data from multiple sources shows. Uh, so over 82,000 traders were liquidated, and the largest single liquidation was taking place on Bybit,
yeah.
which was at $4.86 million.
Oh wow.
So
And if
yeah.
if I can actually share my screen really quickly, I have here an interesting source which is a metric that I think is something that's important to look at, and there seems to be a direct correlation to, and that is the funding rates on the different coins, versus when the price may kind of reverse. And as we were talking about these stop hunts and whatnot, so you have a situation where you end up where if a lot of people in one side of the fence, let's say long or short, and so the funding rates will start to kind of increase, and they'll get so high to the point where there's a lot of incentive to actually liquidate those positions because they would make too much money if they actually went the other way. So having the crypto funding rates for the different exchanges, it's something that is a metric that a lot of people forget about, but I feel like has a lot of bearing into these stop hunts, and when the price decides to do something that is uncharacteristic of what all the market data and on chain is saying, and then all of a sudden you have the price doing the opposite. And if we look at some of these other indications, and we might see that the funding rate was extremely high at the time. So that's something that you might want to
So,
keep into account.
so legal. Where do we find this website?
Well, this one in general is just DeFi rate, DEFI rate.com /funding, and it compares the different funding rates for Binance, DYDX, FTX, BitMEX. So there's going to be an actual one for Binance. So if whoever uses Binance, they have um, a funding rate calculator there that shows the current funding rates for all the coins on the exchange,
Ah, got it.
which I recommend.
Yeah, awesome. Um, Another thing, guys, that we can talk about, and I want to bring Ada here to this chart. Um, but yeah, so before that, even the DXY here, which I just I was just looking at this chart earlier today, because the DXY is still going up here. We did make the case, guys, for this DXY to make a kind of rounded top here, and it it's right now it's sort of still in the pattern, still forming that pattern, and we gotta wait to see at least a couple more days to see if it's actually true. But I saw some people saying, guys, that the DXY can potentially uh, make a move here to the upside. And
Mm.
if that happens, then the BTC and the crypto market can suffer from that by a
Yeah.
lot. So you
Yeah,
gotta
given
watch
the
out for that.
implications of that direct correlation, I mean, the indirect correlation that we've been, witnessing here. So usually, if it does do well, then Bitcoin is on the move to the downside. So if we are going to see this movement, then I would say that the 28,000 and the other indications that we had may be coming to fruition,
Yeah.
possibly.
Yep.
I believe that when we're looking at the DXY, it's really important to combine that with on-chain analysis for Bitcoin, because when we just look at the price action for Bitcoin compared to the DXY, we might find some correlation, but in order to really see how it might behave, it's really important to add some on-chain in there, on-chain
Yeah, for
analysis.
sure.
For sure.
Yeah. And I, I I don't know, but like if I look at this chart here, it seems like it's a W that's been playing out, a huge W on the daily here. Maybe if you look at the weekly, it's even more pronounced
Yeah,
here. If you guys take a look. Um, so yeah, this is pretty much a W here on the weekly
yeah,
for the DXY. And if it plays out, then we could see a big move for the DXY if it breaks the neckline here to the upside. Um,
yeah.
and it's looking pretty textbook.
And as we were making
Um,
those that double bottom on the price action, I could see that the RSI, if I just
yeah,
the RSI was actually making higher lows as we were making a double bottom. So
yeah. The indicator here pointed it out as well. If you
yeah,
Yeah.
guys take a look here, I'll just bullish divergence one after another here.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, this is gonna be interesting to see as well because it can be bad news for crypto for sure.
yeah. Even as we were making lower highs on the price in the last 2 months, I could see that the RSI was just double topping.
Yeah. So yeah, let's move on to the ADA chart here, guys, because we talked about how they are basically done with the uh, one of the forks for their Alonso network. Um, but I don't think there's so much going on here on the chart.
No.
Uh, if you guys take a look, we have this golden pocket here for the retracement that we made on the last live show, which is from this swing low here all the way up to that swing high there. And we are basically on the 65 area here on the golden pocket. Some could say we did break it. Um, so yeah, it's not looking very nice as well for ADA.
Yeah.
A lot of red candles here, but it's gonna uh, basically have a run similar to BTC as well. But also we could say that it's kind of a double bottom situation.
Yeah. And a
This
bigger
move here,
W. Yep.
yeah. So we just gotta wait to see how ADA is gonna perform. Um, because if BTC keeps snooping here, we're probably gonna see some more downside for ADA for sure.
Yeah,
Right.
and there is that kind of market sentiment around BTC and it being the bigger brother. So, once BTC starts selling off, a lot of people also start to sell off.
Yeah. Um,
Was wondering if anybody in the chat had any charts we want to look at really quickly.
yeah, guys. If you have any questions for charts or any requests, you guys can put it in the comments there, and we're gonna respond to you. But I guess this was all that we had for today. Um, we are getting close to the weekend and to that grayscale trust unlock. So I think Sunday is gonna be a big day to see what the price is gonna do, and if we are gonna sell off on Sunday. What I think can happen, guys, potentially, is we get a lot of volume on the 18th on Sunday, and
Yeah.
we just wick down here exactly like we did on this candle here on the daily. So that's a possibility as well.
By the way,
Um,
our we have a viewer. His name is Rapids, and he would like us to look at Ethereum Cash or Ethereum Classic. I'm sorry, Ethereum Classic.
Ethereum Classic. Ooh, Ethereum Classic. It has been a long time since I've looked in this one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So this is the daily chart right here.
you could clearly see right away, right there, like
Yep.
April 19th, we made that high, and we're flipping that into support. Let's see if that's on the 200 daily EMA as well.
So right away we have this zone here, guys,
Yeah,
for Ethereum Cash. So
Classic,
this,
Ethereum Classic.
yep, yeah, Ethereum Classic. Sorry. But yeah, this zone right here at the $40 range is very big support line, major support ever
Yeah.
since April, um, and it's
I,
conflict with. Sorry.
I have a strong feeling that that 200 daily EMA is gonna show up right there. Right, I knew it. See that we're two, yeah. See, we're
Yeah.
bouncing right on that 200 daily EMA. See
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
And if I could pull up
So
my chart too, I have
uh,
some confluence here in terms of the weekly pivot points for over here, ETC USD. I'm looking at the Coinbase chart, and it does look like we have reached the end of the road in terms of support and resistance levels. If we do, kind of look back here, there are moments where we dip below the S3 pivot point, but generally, it may be a wick. But yeah, it's looking like this may be kind of the end of the road for this downward push for this week. And hopefully we'll
Yeah,
see support here because it does look like there is a bounce at the moment.
yeah. On that, yeah, man. We're flipping that high from April 19th into support.
Hmm.
and we're bouncing right off the 200 daily EMA, and
Yeah.
then yeah,
It
so
seems like a lot of stuff are on basically the same page right now.
yeah,
Yeah.
Um, so
And it,
BTC, Ethereum, Ethereum
yeah.
Classic, ADA as well, and I'm pretty sure that if we look at the a bunch of other alts here, we're gonna see the same thing happening, major support.
Yeah.
Um,
I
so
knew that
yeah,
we were looking at the crypto total market cap excluding Bitcoin. We should probably look back at its relationship with that 200 daily EMA as well, because I knew it fell off of it. Um,
yeah, I'll quickly pull it up here, excluding BTC. Yep.
still
So
under it, yeah,
yeah, so we talked yesterday, guys, about this 200 MA here, and how we lost it on the previous daily candle. Um, and this is
yeah,
potential. This was potentially bearish, even more for
yeah,
the crypto market in total.
yeah,
So yeah, along with the bullish news that we have been talking about, there is bearish news as well. With the DXY and with the crypto total market cap
yeah.
going down as well.
The only thing
So
I will say is that it looks like when you look at the crypto total market cap, we're making that double bottom, even though we're below that 200 daily EMA again. However,
mhm,
the RSI is making a higher low. Is that right?
exactly, yep.
So
So
yeah,
yeah, so along with the inside the bearish news, we have a bullish news, which is the this RSI being, you know, showing strength here.
Exactly.
So this can potentially be good because it's not a guarantee that we are gonna basically sell off from this point here. Because if you guys take a look, the previous time we did it, we bounced
yeah,
from this area and got right back up.
yeah,
Yeah.
So um, since we are looking at bigger time frames here, guys, just to wrap it up here, I'm gonna look at the weekly here for BTC because there has been stuff that we have been talking about, and if I can just clear this up really quick here and remove this 21 EMA, I'm actually gonna turn this into the 50
Yeah.
and put it at the same chart because we lost the 50 EMA so far on the weekly time frame. And I commented with you guys the possibility of us just wicking down here
Yeah.
and finishing the weekly above it, but it's becoming harder and harder for us to actually close the weekly above this unless we got a lot of volume.
Yeah. Or some kind
uh,
of impulse move to the upside.
yeah, so this is another bearish thing that we have here, guys, because this 50 EMA has been holding support ever since forever, basically. I
hmm
don't know
Yeah.
why do I have this dot here,
It's like the
and
target for
it's
Bitcoin.
not going, it's not going away. So I'm gonna just keep it there. So yeah, this is the future chart, but if I pull it up here on the Bitstamp chart as well on the weekly. Wow, I have a lot of stuff here as well.
Yeah.
But you guys see that we have been basically holding support here on this 50 weekly EMA
Yeah,
ever since last year or potentially even further. I'll just clear this up here really
yeah, yeah,
quickly. So yeah, the last time we fell below it was on March on that Corona
In
dump.
2020. Yeah.
Yeah,
And it could be
and
argued that the reason we fell below it was due to all the corona business.
yeah,
yeah,
and now we're falling back below it right here. So yeah, guys, this is something that to watch out as well.
Yes.
um and what can potentially happen if we completely lose this and go even further down. But yeah, I guess that's all for today, guys. we did talk a lot about BTC and all the stuff going on. We're
Yeah.
gonna be watching the charts on this weekend, especially with the grayscale, and we're gonna get you guys updated on that as well.
Yeah.
So keep an eye on the channel and on our social media as well, guys. But yeah, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for the comments as well, guys. And if you guys want to see any more content, you can access yarcrypto.com. We also have our news website, which is yarcryptonews.com. And we have our Discord community where we talk all about crypto related stuff. We do live TA every day as well, guys. So if you guys are interested in that, you can please consider checking it out. If you guys want to just learn about crypto, talk about crypto, discuss, you can join us there. But yeah, guys, that was all for today. Good night to you guys. Thank you guys for watching, and bye bye, guys.
All right,
Bye,
guys.
people. Have
Have
a
a
good
good
one.
night.